about 15 or so miles northwest of world-famous Miami Beach as we are set for football at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens. Straight ahead, we've got a good one on tap here between the Ultimates and our home team. And he'll be brought down at the 28-yard line, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone gets him 3 more. Dallas offense set for this next drive. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards. A good safe pass there right off the bat.
That's almost a rhythm play. That's what we like to call it. Get them into rhythm early, something safe, something they're confident about, something they feel good. And once that's completed, then you just keep moving from there because the confidence elevates.
Here's a throw right side, taken in by his tight end. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people. But you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
On first down, Knighton. And down he goes at the 49, a 3-yard pickup.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. And down to the 44, 5 yards that time.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
So 3rd and 2. This quite possibly 4-down territory, though, if they're stopped. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And he's taken down inside the 30.
Nice methodical opening drive here. They're already into field goal range. They're in a good spot. You know that people like to take a shot in this part of the field. But at the same time, as methodical as they've been, they might want to run the ball a little bit here too.
And just on the outskirts of the red zone, they have options now. Either way, though, they've come out with a purpose. And they are able to stop him, but he does take it all the way to the 2. A big play that time on the catch and run.
You have to ask the question, where was the help? Because it's a little surprising to me that he'd find that much room to run this close to the end zone. He doesn't quite get there, but he sets his guys up with a 1st and goal.
A terrific opening drive has them knocking on the door. And he is in. Touchdown NFC. Taking it in from 2 yards out. And the NFC takes it all the way down the field to score on their opening drive. So it was the passing game that got him down here, but closer to the goal line, it's the running game that gets him home.
Certainly appears that they lulled the defense into thinking that the passing game was going to be it the entire drive. Nice change up there going to the running game to get him over the goal line.
Point after, right down the middle. And that makes the score 7-0. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And beyond the 20, but not by much. In fact, just a yard pass there to the 21. So here are visitors to take over on offense. They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. Caught by Jones. And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line.
Defense gives up a touchdown on the opening drive. Offense, you got to want to get out there and get those points back right now.
And that's a sharp throw there to get this drive off to a good start. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. They're going to look to throw. And that is incomplete here. Charles, already trailing by touchdown early. This offense, how imperative is it for them to get points out of this drive?
Well, they feel like they have to go ahead and match because of what was already on the board against their defense. But I think even more so, you just want to avoid 3 and outs. You want to be able to stay on the field for a little while, let your defense catch their breath a little bit, even if you don't score any points.
Now this one to his tight end out on the right side. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down.
Oh, it's time to give a little credit there to the defense. They played that very well because it was a drag route, and he ran a little shallower than normal as he worked straight across the field. He was hoping he'd get lost behind the defensive line, but once he made the catch, nowhere to turn upfield and gain any yardage.
It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And boy, he is very close to a 1st down, but from where they're spotting that football, he's going to be a foot or so short. 5 yards, and that means they come up short as they're going to have to punt here on the opening drive. So they bring out their punter as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. That'll go as a punt of 34 yards that time. And the NFC will take over 1st and 10. So now we'll get our second look in this game at the NFC offense. And certainly they'll be hoping to hit pay dirt like they did on the last drive. Got the football back, so a chance to go up 2 scores.
And they haven't been tentative at all in this ball game because sometimes you start a game with your script to try and get information out of the opposing defense. How will they play you in certain situations? Sometimes you script to attack, and that's what I'm seeing so far. That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
And he goes out right around the 39. A good pickup there, 8 yards on the 1st down completion.
People worry about throwing the out route because often it can get jumped, and that can turn into either an incompletion or an interception, but not on that one. Everything came together, and he catches it and goes over the sideline.
Here's the option going left on 2nd down. Well, he is certainly dangerous when he spots a lane, and he keeps it himself there. Worked out well.
And how about the moving parts on a play like this? You know you have to practice it over and over because it's almost like a ballet that has to be choreographed. But how about once he made the decision to go, he committed to it and went. And let's face it, most teams are going to defend the running back much more than the quarterback on that type of a play.
5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
Nice rhythm throw there on 1st down. He located his tight end, made it a nice easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. From the 47, it's 2nd and 5. Now a handoff here to his running back. They follow up the gain of 5 by only getting 1 there on 2nd down.
He may be a bit undersized compared to the modern-day NFL defensive tackle, but what he lacks in size, he definitely makes up for it in his ability to make tackles in the run game as well.
He'll drop to throw. And he will not be able to hang on through the contact. It's incomplete. The coverage strong, and now it's 4th down.
Nice play there to force the incompletion, and to me, one thing's for sure. When you're the underdogs and you're playing on the road, you absolutely have to get takeaways. You've got to get the ball from them.
Yeah, win that turnover battle, going to be key. They didn't get one there, but you get the feeling they keep making plays like that, they might just get a few.
Yeah, once you get one, defensive teams think they come in bunches.
Back onto the field comes this offense, ready for their 2nd drive. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy? You can see the time and effort and thought that they've put into their passing game because it was evident right there. It looks like a simple pitch and catch, but you and I both know that they have planned for this and worked hard to make it happen.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got second and third down to fall back on.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. He'll look to throw. And that is incomplete.
So many times we see teams go on the road and want to lean on their running game, but this crew just announced they're going to try and air it out and make hay downfield.
The threat of a second straight punt to start the game is looming as they come up 3rd and 10. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And now another one thrown incomplete.
Every offense tells you they want to come out and start fast. That's not unusual at all. But this group, they've yet to get much rolling through their first 2 drives. It looks like they're going to have to give up the football again after this one.
They bring their punter out there now as he'll kick it away for the 2nd time. And he gets this up just shy of the 30 to the 29 before he's out of bounds. They'll call this a 41-yard punt, 7 on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And it's a short one here, complete to the tight end. And he takes this up to the 40-yard line before being corralled.
A lot of tight ends just use their size and their strength, try to occupy some space and kind of body people away and catch the football. But not this guy. He's a refined route runner. Makes me wonder if he took some dance classes in his background with his footwork.
Back to throw now on first down. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Back to throw here. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. Solid move, but he's corralled just beyond the 40. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up.
The key to any screen play is all in the deception, and that means everyone on the offensive side of the ball. But someone gave it up because that one wasn't very well concealed. And the defense able to rally to him and hold him for just a short gain.
And he's got his man on the comebacker. And he's got the first down yardage before he's brought down at the 42. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on 3rd down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down. They've looked his way quite a bit, and in my estimation, as well they should.
Well, that's now 5 catches in this first half alone.
And he picks up another first down. He's been an important part of their offense here early.
They'll look to throw again. His throw incomplete.
Well, they've got man coverage on the outside, and my scouting report on these DBs tells me that they love to take matters in their own hands. They want man coverage, not zone. And there was good coverage there that forced the incompletion.
2nd and 10. Back to throw again. And his throw is incomplete. So back-to-back incompletions. 3rd down here and 10, but you're still in field goal range.
And that's the thing to keep in mind. They're in field goal range. So now you don't take any unnecessary risks, but you try and find a way to get back to what you were doing earlier in the drive in order to finish this one off.
This offense was on the move. Now 2 straight incompletions have him looking at 3rd and 10. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he's going to come up well short as they rally up to stop him at about the 16. 5 yards, not enough, and it'll be 4th down.
We can make this one pretty simple. Locked up all of his progressions downfield, forced to get it to his running back. But how about the way they ran to the football and knocked him down to force a 4th down?
And his kick here is good. And the lead moves to 10-zip. So a nice kick there as they are able to add on to their lead.
And that's exactly what you're looking to do. Maneuver yourself into range. That way, if your drive stalls out, you're able to get something out of it. And they do so right there.
So after the made field goal, 10-0 here early as the kick's away. And this will be a touchback, so they'll bring it out to the 25. Our visitors getting set to take over on offense. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on third down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a first down and change our momentum?
And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40.
You can almost hear the sigh of relief coming from their sideline and from their point on the field, because this has been a tough start for them thus far. A much-needed first down there. They needed something good to happen. Plays like that will continue to help them dig out of this hole.
And he takes this up right near the 45-yard line. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be second down. Now you're down early. How do you get back in the game, maybe establish the run? I think they're trying to do that.
Now, I'm with you on that one, and what I like about the message is that there's no panic from the head coach. He's already told his offensive coordinator, let's run the football, let's get things settled down a little bit and find our way back into this game.
Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
On third and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. First down and much more here for Jones. And he'll take this down to the 40-yard line.
All right, let's just go ahead and walk through this one pretty easily, right? Blast off the line of scrimmage, get downfield to a certain point, usually around 8 to 10 yards, turn around and make sure the quarterback sees your numbers and set yourself up for the pass.
A well-executed curl route by Charles Davis. Meanwhile, the throw here is complete. They'll contain him to just 4. Second down. Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
The play-action fake. They'll look to throw. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done.
Nice play call, a little bit of play action right there. If you can get those linebackers to freeze for just a split second, that's usually all the room you need in order to get it to your tight end.
10-0 to score after 1 on EA Sports. This will be their first trip to the red zone. They have a 1st and 10 at the 18. Again, he'll drop to throw. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
I tell you, Brandon, this defense is playing with some confidence. Haven't allowed a point yet. Flying to the football. I'm telling you, it's almost 11 to the ball on every snap. Another nice job there to force an incompletion.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on 1st down. They'll look to throw. Complete to Jones. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3. They'll set up to throw. And this is going to be incomplete.
I think that was a good job there defensively. They did allow them to drive all the way downfield, but once they got their backs to the goal line, They really turned up the pressure.
Yeah, they let them get all the way down here. Now the field shrinks. They've struggled to convert, and that last incompletion brings up fourth. Andy Reid, some say always unpredictable, and here he says, we're going for it on fourth down. They'll try and run for it. And he will take this one in for a touchdown. Taking it in from 11 yards out. And his guys are able to make this a close game again. So a big decision there to go on fourth down. Gets him not only the first, but gets him the touchdown as well.
And, Brandon, you and I know that all these coaches tell us if every play is executed the way it's designed, it goes for a touchdown. But let's be honest, they were shooting for the first down on that one, and, boy, were they fortunate to take it all the way in.
Extra point splits the uprights, and the lead is down to a field goal. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. Here's Smith to return it. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. Now on the return here, we've got an injured player down there. We'll get an update when we come back to Hard Rock Stadium. The Dallas offense back out onto the field. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met. And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
They'll run on first down. Knighton. And they get to him after a gain of 6 to the 46.
Well, I think after that run, the defense is getting back in the huddle and looking at each other and maybe starting to question their confidence a bit. They gave up a significant run, 6 yards, and now you're saying to yourself, how do we stop them, and do I have enough confidence to make a play?
Now a dump off here complete, and he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46.
Another catch for him there on this drive, Brandon, and it looks like they're going to utilize him out of the backfield any way they can. And that time they pick up a first down. So now on defense, do you assign a man to him and try and cover him before he gets going?
They'll look to throw now on first down. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. They'll contain him to just 4, second down.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
Give him 4 on the carry, and it'll make this a 3rd and about 2.
So if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
The numbers for the NFC on 3rd down. They've hit 2 for 4 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 2. And he gets it to the 34. Good enough for the first. So that was all you're looking for on a play like that. Get the first down and keep the drive moving.
Yeah, it just looked to me like he just said to himself, I've got this. I'll take it. I'll pick it up, and let's keep moving. Get the first down, get a new set, and let's start over.
From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. On first down, Knighton. And he'll get it down inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
So if you've been playing defense in this one, there's a little bit of the good and some bad, because they did give up the touchdown run to him earlier, but shut him down otherwise.
Outside of that, you're exactly right. I would say they've contained him very well. That ball nearly intercepted. The rookie had his hands on it, but couldn't pull it in. He's lucky to be getting that one back.
After what they've done with him all day long with all the targets trying to go after him, he's obviously gotten smart, and his pride has kicked in. Made a terrific play.
And on 3rd and 5, this will be the 8th play of the drive. And this pass broken up. Excellent coverage there on 3rd down, as that was not an easy one to hold on to.
When you run in the slant, timing is everything, and against that man coverage, there was no space available, and incompletion as a result.
So out comes a field goal team now for the 2nd time here today. Made his first. This now from 46 yards away. And this will split the uprights. It's right down the middle. And the lead stretches to 6 here. It's 13-7. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This taken in at the goal line. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. So here are visitors to take over on offense. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35.
One of my old teammates called me the other day when he was watching the game. He's like, man, trying to watch an NFL game and trying to account for their passing game, that's difficult. And just when you think you get everything covered, here comes a back out of the backfield. And in this case, he picks up the first down.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete.
You've always been very good about checking my math. Am I correct? That's the first time that it's been incomplete when they've thrown it to him?
Yes, he had caught every other ball coming his way.
So they feel like they've got something really good going there, and they're going to continue to go there until the defense makes an adjustment and takes it away.
Well, they finally made an adjustment there. We'll see if they can build on that stop. Now here's a throw. It's complete. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Quick hitter here. It's complete. And he's got a first down as he's up to the 48. Got to say, I was a little surprised to see him, Charles, come out in the shotgun on 3rd and less than a yard.
Yeah, but the way the NFL is nowadays, we hardly ever see anyone really run for it on short yardage. So they're going to throw the football more times than not. That was a nice, easy rhythm throw right there, and they pick up the first down.
Now a throw here, hauled in. 5 yards on the catch there, brings up 2nd down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go, because he might wander into some tough coverage.
2nd down at 5. Back to throw. Looking for Jones, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 35. And his guys are going to take over at the 34-yard line. They'll run on 1st down. Knighton, and he'll get this up to about the 40. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on 1st down.
He did have the touchdown run earlier, but not a heck of a lot more than that throughout this game.
No, not at all. In fact, I would say that this defense has done as good of a job on him as they have on any runner in recent memory. After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. And he'll be taken down at the 46-yard line.
And this is one of those plays that if you can use it to keep the chains moving, it's a good play. And not only that, it tends to tamp down the pass rushers because they have to recognize this play and stay at home. The quarterback uses it well. Read option, keeps it, and picks up a first down with some nice running.
The throw over the middle taken in. A gain of 6 there on first.
Well, if you do read man coverage, Brandon, the drag route's a pretty good one to run against it because you're running away from people on it.
2nd and 4. Now back to throw. Quick slant here to Smith. And he is tackled inside the 40, not quite to the 35.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. Looking to throw. Firing quickly here, and that's complete.
And after that completion, you can understand why so many teams in the league are emphasizing speed on defense at every position. The tight ends have created so many tough matchups now. If you can't run with a tight end as a linebacker, this is going to be the result every time.
In need of only about the length of the football here on 2nd down. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off at the 14. And he is going to get this one back to the 20-yard line. Trying to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. Sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes inbounds.
Timing is everything, and they work on this cut all the time. They work on all the timing patterns, and this time it paid off for them. Worked him to the center of the field, cut it to the outside, ball's delivered, gets both feet down for the completion.
2nd and 2. And a quick throw here, that's complete.
I think that's a big pickup for a first down because when you run a drag route against zone, you're sometimes asking for trouble because you might run into a defender.
Yeah, well, there they ran into a first down. Executed it to perfection. Now on 1st down, he'll drop to throw it. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
Here's 2nd and 10. They'll look to throw here. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And that'll be good for 8 yards to the 45.
I know the halftime's approaching, but I don't think he's going to want to take a break. That's his 5th catch.
Yeah, they've really been targeting the tight end. They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. They'll set up a throw. And he's got his man in stride, complete. Now the NFC going to call the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. And on now is the punter as he's on here to punt it away. And this will be up to the ruling of the side judge here. He says it crossed out of bounds at the 16-yard line. And now Dallas gets set to take the field. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know what, a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Fired that one in there, able to make connection on a nice in route.
With those faster passes when they're going that fast, any hesitation as a quarterback that the deflection, if you miss, might be bigger and lead to an interception?
Yeah, and the deflection works both ways. Maybe a defender gets a hand in the way and it pops in the air. And sometimes you throw it so hard your receiver can't handle it, and he pops it up in the air for the defenders to grab as well.
But a moot point there as they were able to connect. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician, Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this or keeps hitting the calculator. But my goodness, what a start he is off to. By the end of this game, he could have monster numbers. He just wants to continue to be accurate.
And he takes this one down almost all the way to the 30. It's a big play for the NFC.
You ask tight ends about their favorite routes to run, and surprisingly, this will pop up as one of their staples because they run so many routes in the middle of the field. How about this one? Starts downfield, bends it to the corner, great touch on the football, and they turn.
And it's a fumble. And the defense will get their hands on it, going the other way. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27. Just over 30 seconds to go in the half. They've got it 1st and 10. And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves them with 2 to go on 2nd down. Now the offense going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with 27 seconds remaining here in the 2nd quarter. And his throw here's incomplete. That is the first time that they've targeted him that he has not come down with a catch.
He's caught everything that's been thrown his way. A dominant pass receiver that can break down any defense, because when he's doing that kind of work, it really hurts you on the back end.
And even though it's an incompletion there, I think they're going back to that well. And he cannot get rid of it. The NFC getting in there for the sack. Now the NFC going to take a timeout, their 2nd, as the clock will stop with 18 seconds to go in the 1st half. And on 4th down, on is the punt team sending this one away. It'll be 37 yards there on the punt. And control of the football switching hands with very little time remaining until the half. One final possession for the NFC in this 1st half. And with decent starting field position, there may be only a couple completions away from field goal range. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 at their 36-yard line. He's going to loft one deep over the middle. And this one too low.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap, and he locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
And they line up now for what will likely be the last play of the 1st half. He's going to take another shot here. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down. So we have reached halftime in what's a 6-point game at the break, as we send you up to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman and our EA Sports Halftime Report. This fielded right at the goal line. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. And this offense set to go now to begin the 3rd quarter. And they're still very much in this game, although they do trail. What's the game plan, Charles, for the 2nd half?
It might be a little counterintuitive because most people will think losing equals passing the ball more, but I'd establish the running game. They kind of went away from it in the 1st half. I think if they get back in balance, it'll help them when they put the ball back in the air.
By the way, I got to apologize because I just realized for about the last 4 or 5 plays, I'm eking over into your territory up here in the booth. My bad. I'm going to get back over to my spot.
Yeah, we're not talking about our on-air commentary. I mean, what is all this extra paper? I mean, this is unusual for you.
My bad.
Normally you run a really tight ship. What's going on here?
Just like that incomplete pass, I'm going to try to tighten things up here for this next play. Throwing again here on 2nd down, this time complete. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the Stix.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They'll drop the throw. Under pressure, and down he goes. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up 2nd down. They were trying to set up a screen there, but that one just too slow in developing.
Yeah, too slow in developing and well read, because that ends up being a bad feeling for the quarterback. When he's got no blocking in front of him, his guys are just going to let defenders go, and they're coming for him. So if it's not there, you just got to throw the ball at the turf at your running back speed. And that was yardage that they needed there after the sack on 1st down. They didn't get all of it back, but now they look at 3rd down as a manageable situation, one that they have a much better chance of picking up.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. And he will have the first down as he's brought down up near midfield.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play, and that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. Second down.
I have to think a major focus of the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the first level, make sure that block's secured before they slide off and try and chip someone at the second level.
And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35.
I love the drive they're working on here because they know they can take the lead with a touchdown. And so far on this drive, so good. They've moved the ball down the field with very little resistance defensively, but they better be prepared for some adjustments to come their way now.
And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's second down.
As his old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out hot. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. He'll look to throw. Over the middle, complete. It's Jones. 9 yards, not quite enough, and they'll be left now with 3rd and 1. Sack him back right around the 30. And the defense coming through on 3rd down. A loss of 7 to bring up 4th. 3rd and 1, they opt to pass it, and the one thing happened that could not happen. They took a sack.
Yeah, I just wonder, is that an indictment of their offensive line? Did they think that they couldn't move them enough to pick up a first down there? Or was it analytics? Did they think about it that way? In any event, they'll be studying that in the future.
So a decent drive there to start the 3rd quarter. They only salvaged 3 out of it, but they inch a bit closer.
Yeah, but still lots of time to go in this one. That's why you hear that clapping on the sidelines, right? Hey, got some points. As you said, inching their way back in. Time left to go out and get that victory.
Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. Here's Smith to return it. And he'll be stopped up at the 25. Now the NFC heading out for their first drive of the second half. On first down, he'll drop to throw. But it's caught on the right side. It's Smith. On second down, Knighton. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line.
They were not fooling around at all, were they? 2nd and short, and they brought out the heavy package. Almost felt like the super heavy package against that defense, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they expected that much beef up front, and it turned into an easy first down conversion. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Now a man open down the middle of the field and able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40.
That was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. and he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
So on the other side of the field now, it's 1st and 10 as they've got things rolling on this drive. 7 yards the pickup there.
And we've seen him have success earlier on with the ball in his hands because he is a get it in space and make a play kind of a receiver. But that time, they closed on him quickly and held him to a short gain.
2nd and 3. Oh, and a bad throw there. It's intercepted. Picked off near the 26. And he will take this all the way down to the 38-yard line. And they'll run on the inside handoff. And down inside the 35, he goes to the 32-yard line. 7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave him with a 2nd and 3.
He hadn't had a ton of success here so far, but you get the feeling that he might be on the verge of popping one.
Yeah, even on that one, there was a little bit of a hole, but it closed there quickly at the end. A good run, got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. Quick hitter here, it's complete.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or
better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. Finding his safety valve here. That's complete. They'll contain him to just 4. 2nd down.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
2nd and 6. And a loose football. And it's scooped up by the NFC. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Now a 1st and 10 at the 11. They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And this nearly an interception, but it's incomplete. Well, a turnover really would have helped him there, but not to be.
My man's getting a little loose with the football there, right? Interception before, almost had one here. He's got to start taking better care of it.
Yeah, really should have been back-to-back drives with interceptions. He's lucky there. And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he'll get it up a little shy of the 15. They'll spot him down at the 14-yard line. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Good defense holds him to only a yard, and it'll be 4th down.
Partner, it took a while for him to lock onto a receiver, and he finally found his man coming left to right across the formation. But by the time he got the ball to him, not much of a chance to turn upfield and make anything out of it.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. It's a return of 4 following a 42-yard punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. Our visitors getting set to take over on offense. And last time the turnover on the fumble, and they were in enemy territory, so that had to be very frustrating. Down on the scoreboard here, can't do it again.
You nailed every part of what was frustrating. Down on the scoreboard, had a drive going, had pushed it past the 50-yard line, so they felt like they were in striking distance, and to come away with nothing, not a good feeling at all, to put it mildly. Now they can't afford to do that again.
Yeah, now can they get that bad taste out of their mouth here? A good action to this point in the 3rd quarter. Just a 3-point game. 2nd and 10. Looking downfield for Jones. And this one is incomplete.
Well, you got to think that sooner or later, they're going to hit one of those, but the coverage has been excellent thus far, and it was again on the last play.
An important play right here, 3rd and 10.
And I would expect pressure here.
A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Maybe a little frustration starting to creep in. The offensive line hasn't done a great job of protecting him in this game, and there he was, hit again as he threw it.
Yeah, another time on his backside, probably starting to get a little frustrated.
Got to keep his composure. Can't let the defense know that they're getting to him.
On fourth down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. Here's Smith to return it. And able to get this across the 20 before going out of bounds. We'll call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Here's the Dallas offense now heading back out onto the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
And he's got this almost to the 40 before going out. And with that last play, he's now up over that 300-yard mark.
And in today's NFL, it almost feels routine. And I hate that when you talk about a 300-yard passing game. To me, 300 yards still signifies excellence, and he's achieved that in this performance.
Throwing on 1st down, but this one winds up to be incomplete.
And when you've thrown as many interceptions as he has in this one, you definitely start getting a little hesitant to throw the ball out wide because that's prime pick 6 territory. That time, he made sure the only guy who was going to catch it was sitting in the 3rd row.
Third quarter from Miami. This is 2nd and 10. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
He has just not had his focus in this game. It's not one drop. It's not 2. That's 3 for this contest.
Yeah, uncharacteristic for any NFL receiver, and he's no exception. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Room to run past midfield. And he's going to get this into enemy territory at the 45.
Whenever we talk about moving the sticks and controlling the football, there's a great example right there. Those are the 3rd downs you need to convert to win football games. We're in the 3rd quarter of this one, and this is a tight one. In order to maintain pace, keep the ball away from the other team, and put points on the board, those are the plays they need to continue.
And he's going to be hit and taken down. Back right around the 48-yard line. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd. Defensively on the previous play, they gave up a pretty good chunk of yardage, but right there, they got a good portion of it right back.
And if we just flip it around from the offensive perspective, took a nice step forward, and how about a couple of leaps backwards after that play? They've got to figure out a big call coming up here to try and gain that yardage back.
Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. We'll get an update when we come back to Miami. So a 3rd and 10, and defensively, a dime look, 6 DBs. Out to the flat, that's complete to his running back. And he's going to be stopped here at the 43, and that is not near enough to pick up the 1st.
How about that strategy there, Brandon? 3rd down, they just said, we've got faith in our tacklers. We'll give you the short stuff, and just decided to protect the sticks. So every time I hear fans telling me tackling's not a part of the game anymore, plays like that, I can clip and save and show them you have to tackle well if you want to be a good defense.
So here are our visitors to take over on offense. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
We have played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. 4 yards remain for 2nd down. And that throw behind his man. He missed him. Incomplete.
You can tell they wanted to get that ball downfield, but they had nothing working in the secondary, so he dropped it off to the running back. That one ended up incomplete.
The offense on 3rd down, they're hitting at just 30%, 3 for 10. This is 3rd and 4. Well, he rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off near the 32. And the return will stop right around the 25. They'll start with the option. Give him 4 yards there on the first down keeper.
Well, if you're going to run the read option, typically, you've got to keep an eye on the defensive end.
And what does that mean? What are you looking for with a defensive end?
Well, you want to play off of what he does. If he collapses inside towards the running back, then you pull it and take it yourself outside in. If he stays outside, you go ahead and leave it with the running back. In this case, pulled it and got good yardage himself.
Now a throw here on second down, and that's complete. That catch good for 5. It's third down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication. And as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete. How about this defense? They came up with a couple of big plays in this sequence, and none better than the one right there, forcing the incompletion and bringing up fourth down.
So on fourth down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. From the right hash, just a 34-yard attempt. And his kick is good. And that extends their advantage to 6. It's 16-10. So they get the 3, but you wonder now, is that going to be enough?
Excellent question, because when I look at the smiles on that side of the field, they're a little tight, aren't they? If they had scored a touchdown there, those would be big half-moon grins right now because they'd feel a whole lot better about their position.
And a touchdown in the other direction, all of a sudden they're down. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. Taking it about the 1. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. Our visitors getting set to take over on offense. And that last turnover could have proven more costly, but their defense only gave up 3. But now answering with a field goal doesn't do them much on this drive. They need to try and find the end zone. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a first down. Well done. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
They'll look to throw here on first down. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up second down.
It's been clear in this matchup which side has been the more physical one. It's been this defense. And here's another example on that last play.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. And he comes back with one complete. And they'll work this down to the 40-yard line. Tackled there.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
And that one drops down, incomplete. Good coverage there, forced the ball free, and it's 2nd down.
I think that was good strategy there, trying to go right back to him after the last completion. But this time, the defense was all over him, and they got there to break that one up.
So 2nd down and 10. Once again, they'll go from the 40. Now a throw here to his running back. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
And the throw there going to be incomplete.
They really had a good drive going there, but a nice recovery by the defense these past few downs, able to knock that one away on third down and bring up what I think for the offense, an unexpected fourth down here.
One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on fourth down. As expected, they're going for it to keep the drive alive. And it's incomplete. They cannot convert, and they turn it over. Andy Reid went for it, but it won't pan out. And as a result, possession switches hands. Good starting field position for them here as they come up 1st and 10 at their 36-yard line. Now a give right side. Knighton. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. 47 yards rushing for him now on what was his 10th carry of the ball game. I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely, you want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down. Good gain there on 1st down. It keeps them in a running situation, probably.
They did everything right on that play, didn't they? They got the leverage up front, good blocking, nice hole for him, ends up picking up nice yardage, stays in bounds to keep the clock rolling. They're in charge of this scenario right now. They want to stay that way.
And not in any rush offensively.
Well, that should be a reminder defensively, and I think it's a reminder to myself because you just can't sell out to stop the run. There's still enough time that this offense can move the football through the air, even on 1st and 2nd downs, and they obviously picked the right spot to throw the ball there.
On 1st down, Knighton. And the play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back near the 40 at the 39. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
No daylight for him to run through there, and he ran into the defensive tackle, and that guy blocks a whole lot of daylight as it is. He is truly a big man who just made a big play.
They'll keep it on the ground. Knighton, and they will only muster a yard here to the 38. The numbers for the NFC on 3rd down, they're right at about the league average, 40%, 4 for 10. This is 3rd and now. Oh, no, he lost the football. And this is picked up by the defense. He's at the 30, the 20, 10. And he's going to bring the fumble back for a touchdown. And Charles, look at the big fella. What a rumble that was. Not only to scoop it, but then take it the rest of the way for the touchdown.
And now you know they're going to have to hear about it from now on. The defensive backs, he's going to want to run with them, do their drills, the whole deal. He thinks he's the pace setter now.
It doesn't matter what happens in practice this week, he's smiling. A very important extra point there, up and good. And they have taken the lead here in this 4th quarter. And you can bet they're preaching 2 hands on the ball here as the kick's away following that fumble return. On the return, here comes Smith out of the end zone. And ultimately, he stopped right where he would have been if he had simply gone down to a knee at the 25. Here now the NFC to take over on offense. And they weren't on the sidelines for long, but I'll tell you what, I'm glad you and I weren't down there. We could hear them. The coaches from all the way up here, they were adamant, you've got to hold on to the football or else we have no hope.
Yeah, it's easy for me to laugh sitting up here, but you're exactly right. If we were down there, that message would have been received a whole different way. Because turnovers, they've been a big problem for them. Got to take care of the football. Got to hold on to it.
They certainly had success throughout this contest, getting him the ball in the passing game, and there he picks up another first down. Whatever they saw going into this one, they've been able to capitalize on it, and no adjustment has been made to take it away.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. It's caught, Smith. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of, until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
They're going to look to throw. Wide open receiver complete. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30.
Well, so far, little to no resistance by the defense on this drive alone. 3 passes, 3 completions, 3 first downs. They're taking it to him, and it's paying off.
Clock running, under 4 to play now as they come up on 1st and 10. Now he's going to swing this one out to his running back. And he's brought down at the 24 after a gain of 4.
I know it was a gain, but you have to sense probably a little bit of disappointment there, because when it's out there in open space, I think they expect to get more out of a play, don't you?
Especially when you're getting it to your guy out of the backfield. You're expecting him to be able to create something, be a little more shifty.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Good open field tackling held it to an okay gain. That was a route run not just with dexterity, but with intelligence. Found the hole in the zone, made sure the quarterback saw him, and was able to make the sure catch and flip the down marker back to 1.
So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. Here's a handoff out of the gun. And this carry terminated at the 8-yard line. Good stick skill showing the power, but just not much room to operate. 59 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
That's a strong pickup right there on 1st down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3. Firing quickly here, and that's complete.
Many different ways to create space, but on that play, he did it with that big, wide body of his. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage on the play, but it did what it was supposed to. Pick up a 1st down.
And the question now, how do they want to work the clock here on 1st and goal? A field goal would give them the late lead. And he is in. Touchdown NFC. A great play there. His 2nd touchdown of the afternoon. And the NFC has retaken the lead. So the toss play effective, even down here near the goal line.
Yeah, and you're hoping the defense commits too many men to stop the run in the middle of the field, and that your blockers can gain a little bit of an advantage. And when they do, foot race to the pile on, and this time, he had the speed to win that race.
He hits the big target for the 2-point try. Defenses hate those guys, especially around the goal line.
It's hard to decide who you're going to put on him. Are you going to put a smaller corner on him? Are you going to put a safety who doesn't have maybe the same coverage skills? How about a linebacker? He may have the size, but he's not used to really covering in space. That's why the tight end gives you such a great advantage when you're throwing the football.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And tackled at the 21-yard line, so a net negative there of 4 yards. The situation for him offensively as follows. Down on the scoreboard. A little under 2.5 to go. Plenty of time here. They've got 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning as they've got it 1st and 10. They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's 2nd down.
It's easy to see when we review this that the ball needs to come out quicker, because if you don't throw it right on the break, you bring a crowd of people into the equation.
And that's why it got knocked away there. An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. He'll drop to throw. He completes it to Jones. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line.
I like the design that we're seeing right there. This is what they need. Down by a touchdown here in the 4th. They just need to keep working their way downfield. And when they see openings, take their shots.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. And they're not able to hook up there. Incomplete. You and I watched film yesterday, and you told me to watch his feet. Well, for whatever reason, his footwork just looked off on that throw.
And you always love it when an ex-defensive back talks quarterback mechanics, right?
Well, but you're good at it.
Well, I try, all right? I don't know how good I am, but it doesn't take much to tell. His mechanics are off a little bit, exactly what you described. Footwork, that led to the incompletion.
His throw incomplete.
Had an open man that time, but ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Possibly a turning point. Big play coming. This is 3rd and long. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And that is incomplete.
That means it's just one last chance left, and this has to be a first down or a touchdown, or this game's over.
Down 7, and they've got to go for it here on 4th down. Got to try it here. He's back to throw. And it's going to be batted down, and will go the other way with the football. They had to go for it with such little time remaining, and the NFC is going to get the football back in excellent field position. They'll run on 1st down. Knighton. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. He'll keep it himself. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. Now a 2nd timeout called for by the defense. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. He will push his way down to about the 14. Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. They'll keep it on the ground. Knighton. And he couldn't quite get there. Tackled down at the 1. 83 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the 4th quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
Back at the 2 now. Here's 2nd and goal. Victory very much in sight now as they'll take a knee.
Listen, anytime you take a knee to end a game, that means you've won it. So it doesn't matter whether it's home or on the road, but there's something a little extra special about doing it in front of your home crowd, isn't there?
And the home crowd applauding. They're happy with what they've seen. Chalk this one up in the left-hand column for a win.
Yeah, that's right. Head to the locker room, throw the wristbands in the crowd for the kids, your gloves, your towels. Get to share it with the home team.
So plenty of smiles for the folks here as they head for the exits. It's a victory for their hometown guys. And you've got to say, CD, it was the defense who had a big part in the W.
Oh, without question. When you force 4 turnovers, you get to enjoy the spoils of victory, don't you? It's rare that you force 4 turnovers and lose a ball game. That's almost unheard of. They carried this one home. You talk about celebrating with each other and being in a position where going forward, all you think about is, let's get 5 next time. They're going to be on the hunt.